It's almost time to rally in the valley. But first, it's the Matsu Miners pregame show, brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome to Palmer, Alaska, everybody. I'm Emma Tiedemann. Austin Pollock is to my left, and this is the Napa Auto Parts pregame show for the Matsu Miners. And the Miners coming back from a tough loss in Anchorage yesterday against the Anchorage Bucks. They scored a run in the second inning. The Bucks scored 2 runs in the sixth, so they headed into the ninth inning. The Miners, probably the Miners' strongest inning throughout the season so far. So they entered the ninth inning trailing 2-1. Then, of all the Miners, Johnny Loker hit the tying home run in the ninth, and the Miners scored 2 more runs off of a single by Cameron Frost and went into the bottom of the ninth, leading the Bucks. But then the Bucks scored 3 runs off of Spencer Jack. The official scoring still not quite complete with that, but Spencer Jack having a rough 1/3 inning, giving up 2 hits and walking 2, and also 2 runs. So the Miners fall to the Bucks 5-4. But heading into this game, the lineup totally different than what we were used to seeing. A new kind of change up in the outfield. The infield looking pretty similar to what we've seen. But Austin, what do you think about this new huge change in the lineup for the Miners?
Well, I think that this is any change you make if you think about it, the last 3 games have all ended in walk-offs. The Miners 1-2, so 2 sort of, I wouldn't call them heartbreakers, but any walk-off where you're walking off the field as a losing team is not always the best feeling. So I think really it's kind of just make any change. You know, hey, there's flexibility. We know with the lineup that we've usually gone with, we know we're capable of winning, but let's try something else. You never really know what could happen.
That's right. And with that new lineup, starting off for the Miners, Panachone leading off things for the Miners, the usual spot at shortstop, but he is starting things off for the Miners, followed by Dane Wunderlich, who is playing in left field. We've seen Wunderlich out in right field usually. Wunderlich followed by Newell in right field. Then Loker moves up a couple spots. He is playing in center field. We've seen him in left field these past 2 games. Senzel in the 5th spot as the designated hitter, which is no big change there. Simmons is back at first base, batting 6th. Mitchell now behind the plate, batting 7th. Jordan Rogers is back at third base, batting 8th. And Terrence Conley, batting 9th, also at second base. So, you know, some familiar faces within that lineup, but also some new faces coming from Stanford and UC Santa Barbara. But just a little bit of a change that I think Coach Ben Taylor definitely wants to see some change and see the Miners win and be part of that 9th inning rally, but come out with a win after it.
You know, I think that something else that's different is there are some guys not in the lineup. No Cameron Frost. Something that really sticks with me is no Brandon Smith. He's really played well, and sometimes these guys just need a day off. It's a lot. It's an adjustment changing from the aluminum to the wood, and there's just all these different. There are a lot of differences. So really, I guess I'm not really surprised, but in a way, it's like give them a day off, see what they can do tomorrow against the Chinooks. But I think you just got to switch things up sometimes. Give some guys playing time. We talked about tonight's starting pitcher, Adam Aller. We have not seen much of him. He threw a lot of innings for Northwestern State. So it'll be interesting to see how he throws the ball tonight, whether he looks a little rusty or whether he's on top of his game. We've only seen him once.
And for the Chinooks, Armstrong's on the mound, and the Miners have seen Armstrong before. So not a big change there. The Miners have played the Chinooks already 3 times. Last time Armstrong pitched was in the first game of the season. Armstrong pitched for 2 innings, gave up 1 hit, struck out 3, and walked no one along with no runs. So he came in the 3rd inning. So Armstrong, a very strong pitcher, but I think that most of the Miners hitters have kind of gotten the swing of things and are a little bit more comfortable with that wood bat, especially the guys who have been here for the longest: Panachone, Wunderlich, Senzel, Simmons, now, and Rogers. But the new guys who have just come up here the past couple days, like Austin said, it might be a little bit of a change coming from that aluminum bat. So we will take you down to the field now. The coaches are meeting and get things started, and then we'll take you in for the national anthem. Also, today at Herman Brothers, it is Kindle Auto Group Day at the park. So some cool festivities happening here. It's a very chilly, 55-degree, windy, very windy day here in Palmer, but we'll take you down to the field for some festivities, and we'll be back with you for the first pitch.
Northwest Regional Council of Carpenters and Carpenters Union, Local 1281. We also want to thank the official sponsor of Matsu Miners Travel, Alaska Airlines. And we want to thank the official sponsor of the Matsu Miners Internet broadcast, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska. Jim Ruda is the owner. While you're at Napa, sign up to enter and possibly win a autographed Miners jersey given away at the end of the season. Again, that's at the local Napa stores here in the Valley. And speaking of the internet broadcast, got a great crew this year. Austin Pollock of Syracuse University, Emma Tiedemann, University of Missouri, doing a fantastic job keeping everyone updated no matter where the Miners are playing or where the listeners are. Kindle Auto Group is also the sponsor of the Big K Bullpen Burger giveaway. That happens about halfway through the game. So make sure you have your entry tickets available when those winning numbers are called. I want to remind you also of the upcoming pancake breakfast that's happening this Saturday. It is at the Moose Lodge from 9 a.m. till 12:30. Pancake breakfast at the Moose Lodge. Meet the Miners, get some good food. The Miners' home schedule for the rest of this week. After tonight's game, they play down in Chugiak before entertaining the San Francisco Seals right here on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots on Thursday right here at 7 o'clock. I want to also let you know the Alaska Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors, when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Remember, look, listen, and live. Again, folks, check out that concession stand. Some great AmeriGas burgers and dogs being grilled up by Gary Feaster with Great Land Welding. Pick yourself up something to drink while you're there. Some other good foods. Head on over to the Beer Shack and Apparel Shack. Get the latest in Miners and Alaska Baseball League apparel and something adult and refreshing. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to Herman Brothers Field and this evening's ABL contest featuring our visiting team from Chugiak Eagle River. Please welcome the Chinooks. And your home team, your Matsu Miners. Let's meet the starting lineups first for the Chinooks. Leading off, playing center field out of Westmont, number 8, Stephen Pollux. Batting second, right fielder number 12 out of Notre Dame, James Nivant. Number 14, batting third, left fielder out of Vanguard, Brett Collins. The cleanup hitter out of the University of North Alabama, first baseman number 24, Kyle Conkle. Batting fifth, second baseman number 34 out of Cornerstone University, Nick Covello. Catching, batting sixth, number 20 out of San Francisco State, Mark Lindsay. In the seventh spot, the DH, number 44 out of West Virginia, Jackson Kramer. Playing shortstop and batting eighth, number 9 out of Princeton, Billy Arndt. And batting ninth, number 11, third baseman out of Oklahoma State, Griffith Rourke. Starting pitcher for the Chinooks out of Hillsdale College, number 30, Shane Armstrong. continuing to fill in as head coach while the head coach recovers from surgery, Mr. Chris Beck. And now, let's meet the starters for your Matsu Miners. Leading off, playing shortstop out of Grand Canyon, number 3, Paul Anachone. Batting second, number 9, left fielder out of Rice, Dane Wunderlich. Playing right field and batting third, number 14 out of UC Santa Barbara, Cam Newell. Out of Stanford, in the cleanup spot, center fielder, number 12, Johnny Loker. Batting fifth, number 13 out of Tennessee, the DH, Nick Senzel. Batting sixth, number 20, first baseman out of Utah, Hunter Simmons. Catching and batting seventh, number 30 out of Texas A&M, Mitchell Now. In the eighth spot, out of Tennessee, number 7, third baseman, Jordan Rogers. And batting ninth, second baseman, number 26, out of North Carolina, Wilmington, Terrence Conley. Starting pitcher for the Miners, number 31 out of Northwestern State, Adam Aller. And please welcome our coaching staff. Head coach, Mr. Ben Taylor, pitching coach, Mr. Brad Baker, and assistant, Mr. Sean Winston. At this time, we ask you to please rise, remove your head cover, face the flag behind the center field fence, as we honor America and the freedoms we have with the playing of our national anthem. It was difficult getting the New York Philharmonic back up here in the press box. And now, making her way out to the mound, from Emil Portable-Wasilla, the marketing manager, Emily Stark. Not only do they have great views.
With championships in 2004, 2007, 2009, and 2010, the Miners are looking to bring a title back to the Matsu Valley.
This is the longest championship drought in 10 seasons.
8 former Miners selected in the 2014 MLB draft, and head coach Ben Taylor is back for another season of baseball in the Valley.
Here we go. Matsu Miners Baseball on the Miners Radio Network.
Good evening. We come to you live from Herman Brothers Field at the Alaska State Fairgrounds here in Palmer. The Miners getting ready to take on the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks once again. I'm Austin Pollock, Emma Tiedemann to my right. Not the easiest of losses to take last night or yesterday afternoon against the Bucks down in Anchorage. A walk-off for the Bucks. That was the third walk-off game for the Miners. They're 1-2 in those 3 games. Of course, the big one coming last time this team was at home. That was Johnny Loker at that game, that walk-off grand slam. Tonight, the Miners look to rebound against the Chinooks. They are 2-1 against Chugiak so far this season. There are a lot of changes in this Miners lineup tonight. We're going to bring that to you right away so you can sort of get that situated. Paul Panachone leads it off at shortstop. Dane Wunderlich back in the lineup. He bats second in left field. Cam Newell bats third. He's in right. Johnny Loker moves up again. He's in the cleanup spot in center field. Nick Senzel bats fifth, the designated hitter. Hunter Simmons back in there. He bats sixth at first base. Mitchell now behind the plate. Jordan Rogers back in as well. He bats eighth. He's at third. And Terrence Connolly gets the start at second base. He bats ninth. And the pitcher for the Miners, it is Adam Aller, freshman All-American from Northwestern State. We'll bring in Emma. Emma, what can we expect tonight? A lot of changes in this lineup.
Yes, and I think it'll be good for the Miners. You know, let's try something different. As you mentioned, there have been a lot of walk-off situations in the ninth inning, and the Miners not always been on the winning side of that. And I think that this will just kind of spruce things up a bit, change it up, keep things fun. You know, keep the Miners from being relaxed and complacent in these usual spots that they've been in, and you know, just kind of change it up a little bit.
Stephen Pollux leads it off for the Chinooks. He takes ball one. His first pitch from Aller. Here comes the 1-0. Low, same spot, 2-0. Stephen Pollux, 2 for 4, scored a run yesterday against the Pilots. 5 for 27 on the season. 2-0. In there, called strike. As I said, 5 for 27 on the season. 1 home run, 3 runs batted in. He is 0 for 13 with 3 strikeouts against the Miners this season. 2-1 from Aller. Swing, and he fouls it back. 2-2. It is a cold night here at the ballpark. A lot of sweatshirts, a lot of jackets. It's chilly.
And the wind is not helping at all.
Right. 2-2. Outside, 3-2. Adam Aller last pitch, 2 innings on the 12th against the Monarchs. 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. Slap foul, third base side. We'll do it again. Thank you to today's sponsor at the park, Kendall Auto Group. Aller looks in. Kicks. Here's his 3-2. Hard chopper to the right side. Hunter Simmons cuts it off. Throws to Aller, and it gets away. Goes over toward the Miners dugout. Pollux will head into second. So he reaches. And the first run for the Chinooks is on second base. And here's James Navant, the right fielder from Notre Dame. James Navant out of Notre Dame, just finished his sophomore year, was 1 for 4 against the Pilots yesterday. First pitch, slapped foul right over by us. It's going to go as an error. That's the official scoring. Error on Hunter Simmons on the throw. 0-1 the count. Here's the pitch. Our grounder to the shortstop, Panachone, takes it on a hop, throws across his chest to the first base bag. 1 away. A little bit of a routine ground ball right there. Then I'll bring up Brett Collins, the left fielder from Vanguard. Collins is 4 for 12 with 3 runs scored and 2 doubles against the Miners. Was 0 for 2 yesterday against the Pilots. And he's hitting .333 on the season. Bats from the left side against the righty Aller from Northwestern State. Miners in the yellow jerseys tonight. First pitch from Aller. Grounder over the umpire's head. Panachone picks it up, throws, and scooped by Simmons, but he can't hold on. So now Collins will reach. Just the speed. Got a little bit of speed out there. That ball was hit very hard. The field umpire was actually right in front of the shortstop, Panachone. And he had to duck down.
Yeah, and it was a great job by Panachone to catch, kind of lay out for that one to stop the ball from getting behind him.
So here is Kyle Conkle. First pitch breaking ball in there, a strike. Oh and 1. Runners at first and second. Second pitch is inside. 0 and 2. Just got the inside part of the plate. Conkle from the University of Northern Alabama. Bat rests on his shoulder. The pitch fouled off to the right, out of play. If that foul ball does damage to your car, visit our friends at Napa Auto Parts. Locations in Big Lake, Palmer, and Wasilla. Visit www.napaalaska.com. 0-2 the count on Conkle. 2 runners on, 1 away, and an 0-2 count. 2 errors already in the inning for the Miners. Swing and a miss. And he's going to drop the ball, but I think they're going to say he fouled it off.
Foul tip.
I think they're going to say he's out. No, they're going to say he fouled it off. So Conkle with an 0-2 count. Here's the pitch from Aller, low and away, 1-2. Conkle working up a good at-bat here against Aller. Here's the 1-2. Holds his swing. He was in motion like he wanted to, but it's 2-2. With just 1 out, Aller already having to throw a lot of pitches. 2-2. Kicks, fires. And swing and a miss. Kyle Conkle wanted to hold up, but just went around. And that's the first strikeout for Adam Aller, 2 away.
Now batting second baseman number 34, Nick Covello.
That brings up Nick Covello. Covello is 8 for 22 on the season. He's 2 for 8 with 2 doubles against the Miners. But 8 for 22 on the season. He's got 6 RBIs. He was 0 for 4 yesterday against the Pilots. 2 away, runners at first and second. Pitch from Aller. Inside part of the plate for strike 1. Covello kind of jumped out of the way a little bit. The Chinooks wearing their red jerseys with the blue letters and numbers. Aller looks in for the sign, has it, sets. Here it comes, the 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Defensive alignment for the Miners, Jordan Rogers at third, Paul Panachone at short, Terrence Connolly at second, Hunter Simmons at first, Dane Wunderlich in left, Johnny Loker in center, Cam Newell in right, and Mitchell now doing the catching for Adam Aller. 1-1, outside, 2-1.
Stephen Pollux with a big lead off of second there. Looks like he almost made it halfway and then decided to head back to second.
Two and 1. Here's the pitch. Stays alive, fouls it off. 2-2 on Nick Cavello from Cornerstone. Bats on the left side. Pitch from Aller. Swing fouled off to the left out of play. Nick Cavello is wearing long sleeves tonight.
I would be too if I had to play down there.
And most of the minors, actually all of them, have the pants, the knees down. Pitch lined up the middle, a base hit for Nick Cavello. Rounding third, headed for home is Stephen Pollux. The throw in, he will score easily. The Chinooks take a 1-0 lead. RBI single for Nick Cavello. That's his 7th RBI on the season. He's now 3 for 9 against the Miners.
Now batting catcher number 20, Mark Lindsay.
Here is Mark Lindsay from San Francisco State, the catcher, one of 2 catchers. The other being A.J. Durr for the Chinooks. Also seen Jeff Murphy from Boston College behind the plate. We've just kind of seen him a little bit of everywhere. Lindsay, 2 for 5, scored 3 runs against the Miners already this season. He takes a first pitch strike. In the bottom half of the inning, we'll get our second look at Shane Armstrong. Excuse me, our third look at him. 0-2. Excuse me, 0-1. That's a strike. 0-2. Oh and 2, 2 outs. All our sets, kicks. Here it is. In the dirt, 1-2.
Aller is getting up in the count really early with the 0-2 situation, but then the Chinooks doing a pretty good job of being patient or letting those balls go past, but then getting singles off of him. It's kind of a rough start for Aller.
1-2. Aller tries to barehand it. It's up the middle. Picked off by the second baseman. Connolly off balance throw. Scooped by Simmons in time. What a great play. Off balance throw from Terrence Connolly. And it gets Adam Aller out of the jam. But the Chinooks get one. They lead at 1-0. We head to the bottom of the first on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Chinooks get one in the top of the first. They lead at 1-0. The Miners coming up against the right-hander from Hillsdale College, Shane Armstrong. Armstrong has appeared in 3 games, 2 of those against the Miners, 7 2/3 innings pitched, no record, 5 hits, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. He will face Paul Panaccione to lead things off. First pitch, breaking ball in there for a strike. Paul Panachone yesterday against the Bucks, 1 for 4. Ball 1 is outside for ball 1, 1-1. He is 10 for 37 on the season with 4 doubles and 5 RBIs. Sends it to right field. That's Navant. Makes the catch, 1 away. I'll bring up Dane Wunderlich to left field. Our first time we've seen him in a couple days.
Now batting your left fielder, number 9, Dane Wunderlich.
Last time we saw him was on the 13th. That was at the Pilots. Was 1 for 3, scored a run and struck out. He's 2 for 12 against the Chinooks with 3 runs scored. We actually saw him in a pinch run appearance. He takes a called strike. We saw him pinch run in the 9th inning on Saturday. He was actually the 3rd run to score on Johnny Loker's grand slam. 0-1 inside, but it's a strike. 0-2 to Wunderlich from Rice.
And of course, Wunderlich had that triple against the Chinooks. First game of the season.
Pitch way outside. 1-2. Armstrong sets. Here it is. Grounded foul just to the right of the plate. Alaska Airlines is the official sponsor of Mat-Su Miners Travel. 2-2 the count on Wunderlich. Pitch from Armstrong. Breaking ball just outside. That slid just from left to right from our view. Full count to Wunderlich. Cam Newell waits on deck. Here comes the 3-2. Low ball 4.
Good way to start things off for the Miners.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get base runners. They can turn into runs. That's what happened in the first inning. Stephen Pollux reached on an error by Hunter Simmons at first base, and he was the one who scored. So any way you can get on. Here is Newell. 1 for 4 with a walk and a strikeout yesterday against the Bucks. First pitch ripped into right field, a base hit. Wunderlich will stop at second. It's a base hit for Cam Newell, and he stays hot. He is now 4 for 10 on the season. Entered 3 for 9, and here's Johnny Loker. Johnny Loker, another big game yesterday. He is 7 for 9 on the season. And the 2 times he has been out, it's by a strikeout. First pitch, ripped into left, a base hit. Ben Taylor is waving Wunderlich. He will score easily. Newell heads for third. Taylor will hold him. It's an RBI double for Johnny Loker. Loco for Loker.
Wow, Johnny Loker. Just been a really kind of bright spot for the Miners.
Boy, he just continues to pound the ball. 8 for 10. He's feeling it. He really, really is. And here is Nick Senzel.
And now the Miners are tied now with the Chinooks, and Loker keeping the Miners in these close games. Last night, his home run tied things up with the Bucks.
Breaking ball is low to Senzel, 1-0.
And of course, the grand slam to win the game in his first game with the Miners 2 days ago.
Now Senzel's in a little bit of in a slump. He's 5 for 26. He was 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts yesterday. That pitch is high, as he has to duck to get out of the way. It's 1-1. Two runners in scoring position. A run already in. 1 out. Paul Panachone flew out to right. That ball gets away from the catcher, Lindsey. No movement for the runner. Panachone flew out to right. Wunderlich walked. Newell singled, and Loker hit the double. Hunter Simmons waits on deck. Wind blowing here at Herman Brothers. Two and one the count on Senzel. Pitch low, 3-1. Pitch from Armstrong. In the dirt, it's ball 4 that loads him up for Hunter Simmons. Last 4 batters have reached safely. That brings up Simmons. Simmons has struggled a little bit at the plate. His defense has been outstanding. He's 2 for 19 on the season with 8 walks. I talked to him before the game and asked him what he's been working on with his swing. He was hitting the ball very well in batting practice. Pitch, that's a slider in there for a strike. That slider from Armstrong has a lot of movement on it.
Hunter kind of stood back looking at it.
0-1, pitch from Armstrong. Little inside, 1-1. Simmons, if you can see on your screen, he was trying to level his swing. He was talking about the one of the I think it's the green sign in right field, a subway sign. He was trying to level his swing like that. He said he was missing. He was swinging over the ball and under the ball. He was trying to even out the swing. He has a count of 2-1 against Shane Armstrong. A run already in. Bases full of minors. He steps off. Looks into his catcher, Lindsey. Has his pitch. Sets. Here it comes. In the dirt. 3-1. He's a ball away from walking in the go-ahead run. It's on second base, and Cam Newell. Loker on second. Senzel on first. 3-1. Outside ball 4. That will walk in a run. The Miners take a 2-1 lead. Newell scores. So it's now 2 runs on 2 hits. And that'll bring up Mitchell now with the bases still full of Miners as Ben Taylor is standing right on the third base foul line trying to give signs to Senzel over at second base. Armstrong says, looks at second. First pitch to now is popped up, and that is behind us. Giving chase is the catcher, Lindsey. And that is well behind us.
Mitchell now had the day off yesterday. Josh Meyer was behind the plate for the Miners.
Pitch in the dirt, stopped by Lindsey. One and one. Jordan Rogers waits on deck. Forgot to tell you, Emma, Mitchell now is the one who delivered the lineup card to me today. 1-1, ripped into left field, a base hit. That's going to score a run. Ben Taylor will hold Senzel the throw in, and the Miners take a 3-1 lead. Johnny Loker comes on in. Mitchell now delivering a big hit. Give the Miners that lead. Extend it a little bit more. Here comes Chris Beck, the pitching coach, to have a chat with his pitcher Armstrong and his catcher Lindsey. Try to find a way to get out of this inning. The Chinooks are 3-4, 1-2 against the Miners. They're a game out of the National League. The Miners are 3-3. They're a half game back of the Pilots, who are 4-3. So it's the Pilots first, then the Miners, then the Chinooks. The Bucks are 6-2 in the American League. But the Oilers are right behind him, 4-1, a half game back. Here is Rogers making his way to the plate. Still not a bad number of fans here, considering it's a little chilly.
Well, see, I was thinking not a whole lot of fans would show up, but then again, they live here in Alaska, so they're used to it.
This. Yeah, I don't think about that. Should probably start thinking about that. Rogers takes a first pitch strike. Jordan last played on the 13th against the Pilots, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts. He's 3 for 14 on the season. Here's the pitch inside, 1-1. Rogers is 2 for 9 against Chugiak so far this season. Terrence Connolly waits on deck. Got to watch him in batting practice. He looked very good. Pitch to Rogers, breaking ball in there for a strike, 1-2. Rogers from the University of Tennessee, along with teammates Nick Senzel and Kyle Serrano. And boy, did Serrano look good the other night.
Outstanding pitching. Pitching around 93?
Yeah, I think he even got up to around 95. 1-2. Slap to the right side. Navant going back. He loses it. It gets over his head and goes to the wall. 1 run is in. Taylor waving around Simmons. The throw in.
Oh. Ben Taylor just fell down.
Ben Taylor fell down. Hunter Simmons scores. It's 5-1 Miners. 2-run double for Jordan Rogers. The Miners extend that lead. Mitchell now is now on third base. Simmons and Senzel score, and there's still 1 out. It's 5 runs on 4 hits for the Miners.
And I think that was just the wind. The wind is very strong out there, and Navant, I just totally lost it behind him. So.
And there's a wind tunnel that goes out toward right field, way over the fence. Here's Connolly. He slaps one to the left side, foul. And 1 the count on him. The infield in. Mainly the right side, the second baseman Cavello, and the first baseman Conkle. 0-1. Outside. 1-1. Paul Panachone waits on deck. He started the inning. He flew out to right. Pitch. Outside part of the plate. Strike 2. 1-2. Back to Ben Taylor. I think he was waving his arms so fast, trying to make sure that run gets in, plus the wind.
I think he was going backwards also.
1-2 is outside. 2-2.
But I was watching Simmons come around third, and then down goes Ben Taylor.
Pitch outside, 3-2. There is still only 1 out in the inning.
Chinook's in a bit of a jam right now.
Armstrong sets. That one is way outside. Ball 4. The Miners have now batted around, and we're back to the top of the order for Paul Panachone.
Now batting your shortstop number 3, Paul Panachone.
That's the 4th walk given up by Armstrong. Panachone stands in. First pitch strike. Oh, 1. Outside, 1-1. One, breaking ball in there, a strike, 1-2. In the dirt, scooped up by Lindsay. 2-2. Pitch, swing, and a miss. And that is strike 3 for Paul Panachone. Now there's 2 outs, and that'll bring up Wunderlich.
Now batting, your left fielder number 9, Dane Wunderlich.
First strikeout for Armstrong. Pitch, swing, and a big cut. Oh, and 1 the count on Wunderlich. Cam Newell on deck. 0-1. In the dirt, stopped by Lindsay. 1-1. Armstrong has thrown a lot of pitches.
This has been a very long inning for the Chinooks.
That it has. Two and one. Pitch, grounder to the left side, and that's going to be a bobble by the shortstop, Arndt. And everybody's safe. The 6th run in for the Miners. Mitchell now crosses the plate. Boy, the Miners really just pouring it on.
Now batting your right fielder number 14, Cam Newell.
Armstrong is approaching 50 pitches.
Oof.
5-0. And you know it's been a long inning when in your scorebook you have to create another column for the first inning. Outside to Newell, 1-0. Wunderlich on first. Connolly on second. Rogers on third. 1-0. Popped up on the left side. The third baseman and the shortstop call for it. It is Billy Arndt who makes the catch for out number 3. 6 runs cross the plate for the Miners in the first. They lead it 6-1. We head for inning number 2 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. A 6-run first inning for the Miners. They lead it 6-1 against the Chinooks. Certainly not a slow start. They're really starting to pick things up with the bats. We talked about all the lineup changes for Ben Taylor. Perhaps this is one he may go with again.
Yes.
For now. Comebacks are possible. First pitch to Jackson Kramer is a ball. The Chinooks also got one in the first inning. Pitch from Aller. Swing ripped right side over by the bullpen. Foul. Actually, it may have hit the mound. 1-1 count on Jackson Kramer from West Virginia. He's a college teammate of Bobby Boyd, who played on the minors in 2012. He was just drafted. 1-1. Breaking ball a little low. 2-1. Miners sent 12 men to the plate in the first. Outside, 3-1. You may actually be able to hear the wind blowing. 3-1 from Mahler. Foul back, third base side. 3-2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the wind is picked up, and now there's a misty cloud kind of cover coming over the mountains in left field.
3-2. That's ball four. Pacific Northwest Regional Council of Carpenters and Carpenters Union Local 1281 is a sponsor of Matsu Miners Baseball. Of course, our sponsor, Napa Auto Parts of Alaska. Here's Billy Arndt, the shortstop. Aller sets. Here it is. Called strike. 0-1. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error for the Chinooks. 6 runs, 4 hits, 2 errors for the Miners. 0-1. In the dirt, stopped by Now. You'd think through 1 inning, there'd be a 0 somewhere on that run hit error for one of the two teams. There is not. 1-1 checks his swing. They will check and say he did not go. 2-1.
Yeah, the Miners had a little problems. Panachone to Simmons. Simmons not able to catch one of the throws from Panachone. So the Miners had a little bit of a slow start in the top of the first, but definitely in the bottom of the first with hitting. I mean, I think they just got started, and I think we might see a different second inning, at least with the Miners in the field.
That's ball 4 to Billy Arndt. Back-to-back walks given up by Adam Aller. Here is Griffith Rourke, the third baseman from Oklahoma State. Now out there talking with his pitcher.
Hey folks, you want to make sure you pick up a program today. The program
Griffith Rourke, the third baseman from Oklahoma State.
Make sure you go to the barrel shack, right by the beer shack there, and get your programs.
Was 1 for 4, scored a run and doubled yesterday against the Pilots. He's 7 for 23 and has 7 RBIs. That leads the team. And he was a minor killer in those first couple games, those non-league games. He was 4 for 8 with 5 RBIs. Pitch from Aller shows bunt, pulls back. It's ball 1. Simmons, the first baseman, playing in. Nobody out. Runners at first and second. The Miners on top 6-1. Pitch. That's inside 2-0. Wind is blowing out, straight out to center. 2-0. Slap, fly ball out toward deep center. Back goes Johnny Loker. He makes the catch. Boy, Johnny does it all.
Loker.
Johnny Loker just does it all. He went a long, long way for that one. Makes the catch pretty much over his shoulder. No advance for the runners. That's the interesting thing right there. It just kept carrying and carrying.
So Johnny Loker can run, he can hit, and he can catch.
We know he can run. We've seen that. To the top of the order, Stephen Pollux. He reached on an error by Simmons. It was ruled a single, and then he advanced to second on the throw by Simmons when Aller was covering the bag. First pitch, low ball 1. Pollux batting from the left side, pitch to Aller. Chopper over by the mound. Aller will field it himself. Flip to Simmons for out number 2. The runners advance. Kramer to third, Arndt to second. That's the second out of the inning. And here is James Navant from Notre Dame. He grounded out to short in the first. Aller looking for the sign, has it, sets. Here it comes. Low ball 1. We were talking about yesterday's game was a quick one.
Yep. Except for the 9th inning.
Except for the 9th. Saturday was a quick one, except for the 9th. I think Friday was quick too. Went into extras. Called strike to Navant, 1-1. This one, it is, let's see, 7:43 Alaska time. And we're in the top of the second, and there's 2 outs. 1-1. Pitch from Aller. That's a called strike, 1-2. He's a strike away from getting out of a little bit of a jam. He walked the first 2, retired the next 2, and now he's dealing with Navant.
He hasn't given up a hit, though, yet in the top of the second.
That is correct.
First inning he did, but so far so good.
1-2, here it is. In the dirt, stopped by now, 2-2. Two and two, 2 outs. Aller waits for the sign. Time called, he steps off. We'll try it again. The 2-2, here it is. Lifted foul right side, out of play. If you have anything to tell us, send us a tweet at ABL Miners, comment on the live feed below, or send us an email, matsuminersbroadcast@gmail.com. 2-2 to Navant. Fouled off. Like maybe the cleat of Mitchell now. Or the home plate umpire's shoe.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell.
It was off a shoe.
Yeah, neither one of them looked to be in any sort of pain or showing where they got hit, so
All
it's hard
good.
to tell.
All good. 2-2, Aller sets. The pitch. Line and caught. At shortstop by Paul Panaccione. Adam Aller out of a jam. Still 6-1 Miners. We head to the bottom half of the second on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Loker lead things off for the Miners in the bottom of the second inning. 6-1, the Miners lead the Chinooks. Adam Aller got out of a jam in the top of the second. First pitch to Loker inside, ball 1. Johnny Loker is 8 for 10 on the season, 1 for 1 in this game. He doubled to left, 1-0 into left center field. That will fall a base hit and get down and roll to the wall. Loker rounds first, heads for second. He will stop there. Johnny Loker is 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. Make that 9 for 11 since he arrived in the Valley.
I'm telling you, it's this Alaskan air.
There's something about it.
I mean, he just has hit a hot streak ever since he's gotten here, and
Oh, that a hot streak, I think, is an
I think it's
understatement. Oh my goodness. Here is Nick Senzel. He walked and scored. First pitch in the dirt, stopped by Lindsay. Teams are going to have to find a way to get Loker out. 1-0 to Senzel. Lifted to the right side, giving chase to the first baseman. Conkle loses his hat. It is out of play.
Oh.
Ooh. Just off the top of the fence. He kind of ricocheted out somewhere.
be funny if we would have had a Steve Bartman situation.
Oh, no.
Watched that 30 for 30 last night.
That was last night?
Was it? Yes.
Wow. Yeah, got to hike the Butte too.
The
Was it
Butte.
850 feet?
875 feet.
850, 875, something. Senzel pitch low. 2-1. Grounded to the left side, the third baseman Rourke throws across the diamond to Kunkel, 1 away. No movement for Loker at second base.
Now batting your first baseman, number 20, Hunter Simmons.
Here is Hunter Simmons. He walked and scored in the first. We would love an RBI here. Breaking ball in there, a strike. Forgot to say this, but Shane Armstrong is back out there.
After how many pitches? You said about 50?
He was at about 50 at the end of the inning. We can get a more accurate count in just a bit. 1-1 the count on Hunter Simmons. Armstrong keeping a close eye. 2-1. I did say he was just around 50. But I think he's approaching 60. 2-1 the count on Simmons. A little bit of a waggle of the bat. Pitch from Armstrong. Inside. 3-1. He's almost at 60. That's a strike. Simmons thought it was a ball. He was on his way to first. 6-1 Miners. Hunter Simmons is 2 for 19. He scored 3 runs on the season. Armstrong sets. Here comes his 3-2. Inside ball 4. Simmons aboard for the second time. That's the 5th walk given up by Shane Armstrong. And here is Mitchell now. Runners at first and second with 1 out. Mitchell now singled his last time up. He fouls 1 off. Oh, and 1 the count, 1 out. 6-1 Miners. Pitch ripped into left field, a base hit. Ben Taylor will hold the runner. And the bases are loaded again with 1 out.
That's just about the same spot that Mitchell now hit to in the last inning.
Yeah, it just, they're hitting the ball well. This is really a hit attack right now, as here is Jordan Rogers. Rogers hit a big double. It was a 2-run double for Rogers. The Miners have really hit the Chinooks well this summer. Pitch in the dirt, stopped by Lindsay. It's only the 4th game these two teams have played against one another. And although the Chinooks have 1 win, you look at it now, a 6-run first, and they're threatening for more. I think the Miners have had the Chinooks number.
It's the same situation, bases loaded with 1 out.
1-0 is outside, 2-0. Armstrong does seem quite frustrated. He's walking off the mound, and now he's back on. He's working quickly. 2-0. Inside, 3-0. Outside, that's ball 4. Another run comes in. It's 7-1 Miners. That is the 6th walk given up by Armstrong. I have not seen Chris Beck pop out of the Chinooks third base dugout. And here is Terrence Connolly. He walked. So now it's Simmons on third, and looks like Chris Beck is now making his way to the mound.
There is action in the Chinooks bullpen.
I haven't seen any signal. The pitcher is still warming. He has not stepped off the mound like he's coming in. The entire infield is meeting on the mound. And Chris Beck has just pointed to the dugout. We will have a pitching change in Palmer. The Miners lead the Chinooks 7-1. We'll be right back on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Back in Palmer, 7-1. The Miners lead the Chinooks. A new pitcher on. It's Ryan Harris from Cornerstone University. Calls Crystal Lake, Illinois home. He has no record. 2 games. He started once, 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 walks, 5 Ks. He faces Terrence Connolly. Shane Armstrong departs after an inning and a third. Gave up 6 hits and 2 runs. 7 runs. 1-0 the count on Connolly. Harris's pitch is away outside, 2-0. Harris last pitched on the 12th. It's one of the Legion teams. 3 innings, 3 hits, a run, it was earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. He has faced the Miners this season. 2-0 to Connolly. Is low, 3-0. That was on June 9th here at Herman Brothers when the Miners won 10-7. He went 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Right-hander, 6'2", 195 pounds. He delivers the 3-0 to Connolly. It's a called strike. 3-1. Paul Panachone waits on deck. 3-1. That's a strike. Thought maybe it was a little bit low, but it's a full count. Three, 2. Slap left side out of play. Three and 2 the count on Connolly. Base is full of Miners. Pitch from Harris. Fouled right back near us.
Conley, the left-handed batter, we've seen a lot of improvement with him since the first game of the season. He struck out 3 times, I think, in the first game of the season, but has battled back and has put extra work in, and it's definitely showing off.
Outside ball 4. That'll walk in the 8th run for the Miners. Mitchell now on third. Rogers at second. Connolly on first. Simmons scores for Paul Panachone. One and 0. Pitch is low, 2-0. Infield in, 2-0. Little high, 3-0. Ball 4, another run in. That's the 9th. Here comes Mitchell now. Rogers to third, Connolly to second.
Now batting your left fielder, number 9,
Third straight walk.
Dean Wonderlick.
Second walk given up by Harris. Here is Wonderlick. He walked and scored in the first time the Miners went to the plate, and then he reached on there by the shortstop the second time the Miners went to the plate in the first inning. He was the 11th batter in the inning in the first. The second and the 11th. 3 runs in for the Miners, 9-1 in the second. Pitch from Harris inside, 1-0.
And we apologize for the stats that are down. It seems like the whole system is down. So we know, I think someone's probably on that. Try and get that back up for you as soon as possible.
We will also check on that when we have a chance and make sure that is what's going on. 2-0. Pitch in the dirt, stopped by Lindsay, 3-0. 1 out, and the base is still loaded. Cam Newell waits on deck. 8:05 here in Alaska. 3-0. There's a called strike, 3-1.
And there is action in the Chinooks bullpen.
3-1. That's in the dirt. It gets away from the catcher, Lindsay. It's ball 4. The 10th run crosses the plate for the Miners. It's Jordan Rogers. Another walk. Third straight walk. Given up by Ryan Harris.
Your right fielder, number 14, Cam Newell.
5th walk in the inning. 9th for Chinooks pitching, and here comes Chris Beck out to talk with his pitcher, Harris. We'll see if he makes a move. He does. He goes to the bullpen with everything you need to know on the new pitcher when we return to Herman Brothers Field on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Cam Newell is the hitter for the Miners. He faces the new pitcher with the sidearm, and it's Lance Phillips. From what we know, the stats do seem to be back up. So Cam Newell is the batter. Base is loaded. 1 out. He swings and misses a big pitch. 2-1. Newell singled in the first and then popped out to short to end that long first inning. Trying to get more runs in. 10-1. Here's the pitch inside. 3-1. And look who's on deck. Johnny Loker. 10-1. The Miners lead here in the second. Here's the pitch. Outside, that's ball 4. The 11th run crosses the plate for the Miners, and Johnny Loker coming up.
And now, Paul Panichone, who's now on third, if he scores, then every Miner has crossed home plate.
That is the 5th straight walk given up by Chinooks pitching. And here is Loker.
Loker started the inning.
He's 2 for 2, and the first pitch to him is inside for ball 1. Loker is 2 for 2 with 1 RBI. They're both doubles. He scored twice. Pitch to him, swing and a big cut, 1-1. That may have been the first time I've seen him swing and miss at a pitch in a while. Lifted to the right side, giving chases Conkle. It falls foul. 1-2. One and two, the count on Loker. 1 out, bases loaded. Phillips sets. Here's his pitch. Swing and a miss by Loker. He chased that one. Strike 3. And he is finally retired.
Now batting your DH number 13, Nick Senzel.
Here is Nick Senzel. So Loker retired. 2 away. Senzel walked and scored in the first, grounded out to third in the second. Pitch high, fly ball toward deep center. Back goes Stephen Pollux, making his way toward right center. He makes the catch for out number 3. The Miners get 5 in the bottom of the second. They lead it 11-1. We head to the third on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. We are currently dealing with some technical difficulties. Please bear with us. We will be back very shortly. Thank you. All right, folks, we really apologize for the technical difficulties as Nick Cavello hits a ground ball to Hunter Simmons at first base. That actually ends the inning. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Adam Aller. The Miners still lead 11-1. 11-1, and we'll run you through what happened. Brett Collins led off the inning. He grounded to short. Kyle Conkle grounded to short. Those are the first two outs, and then there you saw Cavello was retired. 3-1, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. We'll be right back with the bottom of the third on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We will be right back. All right, back for the bottom of the third. Hunter Simmons to lead it off against Lance Phillips. He's back out there. And it's first pitch strike to Simmons. One and one the count. Simmons facing Lance Phillips. Here's the pitch, swing and a big cut, 1-2. Folks, if we do need to step aside, we apologize. We are dealing with scoring technical difficulties, which we do need in order for this broadcast. 1-2 to Simmons. Grounder to the right side, picked up by the first baseman Conkle. He steps on the bag, one away. Now bring on Mitchell now, the catcher.
30, Mitchell, now.
Mitchell now is 2 for 2. He's 2 for 2 with 2 singles as he swings and misses. That one goes all the way to the backstop. He's down on the count 0-1. Oh, 1. Called strike, 0-2. Jordan Rogers waits on deck. Inside, 1-2 to Mitchell now. Two and two the count on Mitchell now, and I don't know what that was. I think he swung and missed, and that was strike 3. Oh no, they're gonna call that a hit by pitch or catcher's interference. We'll see what's going on here. I think Chris Beck did not make his way out. I think that was the call. I think that was catcher's interference because the count was 2-2, and Mitchell now is standing on first base.
Now batting, your third baseman, number 7, Jordan Rogers.
Here is Jordan Rogers. Runner on first, 1 away for Rogers. Here's the pitch, slapped right side, foul out of play. Rogers reaches first.
Now batting, your second baseman, number 26, Terrence Conley.
Here is Terrence Connolly. Pitch to him is high, ball 1. Mitchell now at second base, and Jordan Rogers on first. Lifted foul left side. One and one out. 11-1. The Miners lead the Chinooks. Pitch up the middle, a base hit. Taylor will hold Mitchell now at third. The bases are loaded with 1 out, and the Miners just threatening for more.
Now batting, your shortstop, number 3.
Here is Paul Panaccione. He takes a call strike. Panaccione flew out to right in the first, walked in the second. And he also struck out, but that strikeout was his second time up in the first inning. 1-1 to the shortstop from Grand Canyon. Dane Wunderlich waits on deck, pitch up and in. 2-1. Miners sent 6 men across home plate in the first, 5 in the second. Nobody here yet in the third. 11-1. Panaccione, ground ball left side. The third baseman will throw home. The force there, throw to first. There is no throw. So they get the force at home of Mitchell now. And there's 2 away. So Panachone reaches on a 5-2 fielder's choice. Connolly to second. Rogers to third. Here's Wunderlich. Pitch, a called strike. Oh, 1. Low 1-1. One to Wunderlich. Pitch from Phillips. Inside, but it's a strike. 1-2. Two away. No runs in. Pitch to Wunderlich. Fouled right back over us. You can hear a fan probably yelling to his kid, "Get it, get it, get it." Probably chasing that foul ball. Pitch fouled at home plate. 1-2. We are in the bottom of the third. Miners are up 11-1. Back to the mound at Chopper. Phillips looks at home, throws to first. Gets the force there to retire the side. A 0 on the board finally for the Miners. That's what's going through the mind of the Chinooks. But the Miners still lead 11-1. We head to the fourth on the Matsu Miners Radio Network.
And welcome back to Herman Brothers Field. I am Emma Tiedemann. Austin Pollock to my left, and getting things started for the Chinooks is Mark Lindsay, the catcher. Grounded to second baseman Connolly in the first inning. First pitch by Aller, little inside for ball 1. And big swing by Lindsay. That's strike 1. Miners lead the Chinooks 11-1. 1-1 pitch, high and inside, ball 2 for Aller. And as we kind of saw, as Lindsay hits one straight up the center of the field for a base hit. That puts one man on for the Chinooks. Brings up Jackson Kramer, the designated hitter for the Chinooks tonight. He was walked in the second inning, left on third base. Left-handed batter. Hitting .313 on the season. The open stance. First pitch, big swing, strike one. Second pitch by Aller, low and outside, ball one. Lindsay with a little lead off first. And pitch outside. Aller kind of motioning to himself, saying kind of that was his bad. To his catcher, Mitchell, now. Aller, the freshman All-American out of Northwestern State. High fly ball to left center field. Loker going back for it and makes the catch. Mark Lindsay at first base decides to tag back up and hang out around first with Hunter Simmons, the Miners' first baseman. And that's the first out of the inning. Top of the fourth here.
Hunter's a good guy to hang around at first base. I would probably do the same.
Billy Arndt now at the plate for the Chinooks. The shortstop, hitting .174, was walked in the second inning. First pitch by Aller, and there for strike one. The 0-1 pitch, big swing, strike two. I don't know if you can see it on the video feed, but Adam Aller, I think his right hand is getting a little cold out there. Keeps warming it up after every pitch, blowing some warm air in it. Big swing, line drive to left field, and that's a base hit, moving Lindsay to second and Arndt to first. Brings up Griffith Rourke, the third baseman, had a fly out to center field in the second inning. He's hitting .304 on the .304 on the season with 7 RBIs. Now, runner in scoring position, it's Mark Lindsay at second. Top of the fourth inning. And we are through about an hour and a half of play. It's been a pretty long game. Miners scoring quite a few runs in the first 2 innings. 6 in the first, 5 in the second. The 0-1 pitch, big swing by Rourke, and that's strike two. Rourke, a left-handed batter, facing Adam Aller, the right-handed pitcher. The 0-2 pitch, another swing. That's strike three. And the second strikeout by Adam Aller. Brings us back to the top of the order with Stephen Pollux. Pollux had a single in the first and scored the only run for the Chinooks, and then grounded out to Aller, the pitcher, in the second inning. So he takes his first pitch, low and outside for ball one. 1-0 pitch, again outside, ball two. And the wind has seemed to die down. The flags out in center field seem to be calmer than they were. I don't see the players' jerseys blowing in the wind as much. See, as Pollux hits a direct line drive into the glove of Hunter Simmons at first base. That is out number 3 for the Miners. As we head into the bottom of the fourth inning, the Miners lead the Chinooks 11 runs to 1. You're listening to Miners Radio Network. Leading off for the Miners at the bottom of the 4th inning here at Herman Brothers Stadium, Cam Newell playing right field tonight. Swung on high fly ball down the third base side. Running for it is Collins, and it drops foul. Newell had a single in the 1st inning and scored a run, then was walked in the 2nd. He's hitting .333 on the season with 1 double. One ball, one strike to Newell. Pitch swung on back to the pitcher, Phillips. Phillips misses it with his glove, but it's scooped up by Cavella, the second baseman. And great play there by the Chinooks to get Cam Newell out at first base.
Now batting your center fielder, number 12, Johnny Loker.
And that brings up Johnny Loker. 2 for 2 tonight with 2 doubles. Actually, he's 2 for 3. 2 doubles, and then was struck out his second time around in the 2nd inning. Playing center field tonight. And has scored 2 runs. First pitch is a strike. Oh, 1 pitch, a little low and outside for ball 1 to Loker. Loker, of course, had a home run in the top of the 9th inning to tie things up with the Bucks. Very inside ball 2. And then 2 nights ago, he hit the winning walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 9th inning to put the Miners up over the Pilots. That one's outside for ball 3. Phillips now down in the count, 3 balls to 1 strike. Already 1 out for the Chinooks. Swung on high fly ball to the infield. Third baseman Rourke waving everybody off. Takes it himself. And that's the 2nd out for the Chinooks.
Now batting your DH number 13, Nick Senzel.
Brings up Nick Senzel out of the University of Tennessee. He is designated hitting tonight. He played third base yesterday against the Bucks. He was walked in the 1st inning, scored a run, then grounded out to third baseman Billy Rourke in the 2nd inning. Hitting .192 so far this season, but has been walked quite a few times. He was struck out twice yesterday. 2-0 count now for Senzel. To a pitch swung on, ground foul ball down the third base side. Count 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Here's a pitch, high and inside, ball 3. Top of this 4th inning has been significantly better for the Chinooks. Even though they were able to hold the Miners scoreless, the 3rd inning, now Nick Senzel is walked by Lance Phillips. Brings up Hunter Simmons, the first baseman for the Miners.
Hunter Simmons.
In the 1st and 2nd innings, he was walked and scored a run. Then grounded out to the first baseman, Conkle, had his last at bat in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Simmons, high and inside, ball 1. Senzel with a lead off of first. We've seen him try and steal a couple bases. It's a ground ball up the right field side. Senzel will stay at 2nd. And Hunter Simmons with a single. Now at the plate, The catcher for tonight, Mitchell Now has had a great night hitting. Has had 2 singles. One in the first inning, one in the second. Pretty much identical. Ground balls into left field. Advancing runners. Then was able to reach first base in the 3rd inning with a catcher's interference. First pitch, high and outside, ball 1. Chinooks playing straight away in the outfield and the infield. 1-0 pitch, and there for strike 1. One pitch, little high, ball 2. So Sinzel at second, Simmons at first. The Miners lead the Chinooks 11-1. Ground ball to third baseman Rourke. Rourke throws over to first baseman Conkle. And it's a 5-3 out to end the inning for the Miners. Miners are scoreless in the 4th inning, but we head into the 5th. With the Miners leading 11-1 over the Chinooks, you're listening to Miners Radio Network. Hello, folks. We're dealing with some more technical issues, and we will be right back once we get everything figured out. Thanks for sticking with us.
All right, everyone. We really apologize for all these technical difficulties. You probably don't. You probably think everything's going all right and everything's okay with the broadcast. We have a second responsibility here in the press box, and that is causing a lot of difficulty right now. But Brad Baker is making his way out to the mound to chat with Adam Aller and Mitchell now. It's an 11-1 game between the Chinooks and the Miners. There are 2 runners on here in the 4th. Mark Lindsay singled. Jackson Kramer flew out. In the left center field gap, it'll get down for a base hit off the wall. 1 run will score. It is 11-2. The other run, Conkle, he stops at third, so the Miners give up another run. It's now 11-2. The Chinooks tack on another. James Devant scores.
Now batting, catcher number 20, Mark Lindsay.
There's an RBI double for Nick Cavello. And here is Mark Lindsay. He is 1 for 2. He takes ball 1. There is action in the Miners' bullpen. Aller's 1-0. Hard ground to the third base side. That is Rogers. He looks at home, throws across the diamond at first for out number 2. Lindsay retired. Now bring up Jackson Kramer.
Now batting the DH number 44.
Josh Morris warming in the Miners' bullpen. The other right-hander from Northwestern State. Two away, 11-2. The Miners lead the Chinooks. Aller's pitch in the dirt, stopped by Now. Top of the 5th. Here in Palmer. Pitch ripped down to right field. That'll get down for a base. It'll go all the way to the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes another, and Kramer into second with a 2-run double. Cavello and Conkle score. Second double of the inning for the Chinooks. It's now 11-4. 3 runs in the inning. And Brad Baker has just stepped out of the Miners' dugout. He's standing right on the rail.
Now batting shortstop number 9, Billy Arndt.
Here's Billy Arndt. Walked in the second, singled in the 4th. Pitch, chopper foul, third base side. A 1, chop foul, same spot. 0-2. Billy Arndt, the shortstop from Princeton, has an 0-2 count with 2 outs. Aller sets. Kicks. Here's the pitch. Slow roller to the left side. Jordan Rogers across the diamond. Strong throw in time. But the Chinooks get 3. They trail the Miners 11-4 on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Bottom of the 5th coming up in just a bit. All right, folks, we are having more technical difficulties. It's 11-4. The Miners lead the Chinooks. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Jordan Rogers leads off for the Miners. And enjoy the video. We'll be back as soon as we can. Again, we apologize for these technical difficulties.
All right, okay.
Griffith Rourke to lead off against the new pitcher, Josh Morris, for the Miners. Rourke is 0 for 2. First pitch is a ball. All right, folks, we are back. We really, really apologize for all of these interruptions, whatever you want to call them. It wasn't fun. It really wasn't. The Miners, let's get you caught up. The Miners have an 11-4 lead. It was a 3-run fifth inning for the Chinooks. Nick Senzel is at the plate. There's one out. He has a 2-2 count, runners on second and third. Senzel hits a ground ball up the middle of base hit. A run scores. Taylor waving. Newell, he scores. It's 13-4. Nick Senzel, a 2-run single. So Wunderlich and Newell come in to score. Those two walked to begin the inning. Johnny Loker struck out. He's 2 for 4. And that brings up Hunter Simmons. Simmons walked twice and scored both times. That was in the first and the second. Grounded out to third in the third. He singled in the fourth, and here he is in the sixth with a runner on and one out. And he takes a called strike. It is 9:15. We are in the bottom of the sixth, and the Miners lead 13-4. And the count is 1-1. Mitchell now waits on deck. Inside, 2-1. Two and one on Simmons. First baseman from Utah. Pitch. Check swing. Doesn't go. 3-1. One out. 2 runs in for the Miners. They lead the Chinooks 13-4. Simmons takes a strike. He disagrees.
I think Simmons heads to first base after what he thinks is a fourth ball more than any player.
Most likely.
I
But
think-
he also leads the team in walks.
True, so he's kind of used to going down there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
3-2. Grounder right side, base hit into right. Nick Senzel will stop at second. Another hit for the Miners.
And that is the second single for Simmons in this game.
Yeah, I said he's been working on his hitting with the coach, especially Ben Taylor, and he looks a lot more comfortable up there. Going the opposite way. I saw him during batting practice. He did a lot of the opposite way. And here is Mitchell now. He walked and scored in the first and also in the second, reached on a catcher's interference in the third, and grounded out to third in the fourth. And here he is in the sixth. First pitch outside. I know it's hard without the broadcast when there's to really know what's going on, especially with the quality of the video, but now Fallon's one off to the left out of play. But it's almost getting time to think about your player of the game at ABL Miners. You could send us a tweet, comment on the live feed below, or send us an email, matsuminersbroadcast@gmail.com. Pitch, low, 2-1. Again, we really do apologize for being so in and out with you all. 2-1 to now. Swing, hard grounder to the shortstop, and he boots it. Now he's going to reach. That's going to be an error on the shortstop, Billy Arndt. Nick Senzel to third, Simmons to second, and now reaches on the E6. And here comes Chris Beck. It looks like there will be a pitching change. There is someone warming in the Chinooks bullpen. Jordan Rogers waits on deck. Terrence Connolly in the hole. Chris Beck actually just out there to chat with Lance Phillips, who's been out there since the second inning.
Your third baseman, number 7, Jordan Rogers.
And I'll bring up Jordan Rogers. Phillips still out there. Rogers doubled in the first, walked in the second, was hit by a pitch in the third, and popped out to second in the fifth.
And the base is full of Miners yet again.
Still. And 1 out.
It's like deja vu every inning.
Inside to Rogers. 1-0. I would agree. One and 0, 1 out. Connolly on deck. Here's the pitch. Rogers, ground ball to the left side. That's the shortstop, Billy Arndt. He can't handle it again. That's another error. That is Billy Arndt's second error, actually, in consecutive batters. That'll bring Nick Senzel across. That's the 14th run for the Miners. They lead it 14-4. Hunter Simmons on third base. Mitchell now on second, and Rogers is on first for Terrence Connolly. Still 1 out. Slapped left side. Collins makes the catch. Tagging at third is Simmons. He scores the 15th run for the Miners. They lead it 15-4. Mitchell now stays at second on the fly out to left. There's 2 away. Rogers still at first.
Now batting your shortstop, number 3, Paul Panachone.
I'm looking at Emma's scorebook. She's got a lot of diamonds colored in.
Colored in with pink pen.
Yeah, those all mean those are all runs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Those are all runs. Called strike to Paul Panachone. Flew out to right in the first, walked in the second, reached on a fielder's choice, lined out to second. He also struck out. Hard ground ball to the shortstop. Billy Arndt goes to second for the force to retire the side. The Miners get 4 more. They lead it 15-4 at Herman Brothers Field on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. We'll be right back. Brett Collins to lead it off for the Chinooks. Reached on an error in the first, and he has a pair of groundouts. Josh Morris back out there. Morris, an inning, a hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Takes ball 1 is Collins. Final line on Adam Aller. Getting to a little late. Again, we apologize. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. He got plenty of run support.
I think that's an understatement.
Shane Armstrong, an inning and a third, 6 hits, 10 runs, 6 walks, 1 strikeout. And the thing that really kills you there, it's the walks. We saw it with the Miners late last week, the walks really hurt them. 2-1 from Morris to Collins outside, 3-1. Collins from Vanguard. Kyle Conkle waits on deck. Pitch to Collins is a called strike. Three and two. Foul right back to the screen. .925 here in Alaska. And it's quite overcast. Herman Brothers Field does not have lights. We are on the top of the 7th. To the left side, Rogers giving chase in foul territory. It is out of play. And although in Alaska in the summer it doesn't get dark, some people don't understand what that means. It doesn't, the sky just doesn't get, how would you put it, black.
Right. We have not seen stars.
There are no stars. It just gets
like dusk.
And you can't play with that as there's a fly ball out to left. That is Dane Wunderlich who makes the catch. Collins retired, one away. So what that means is you get closer, probably toward like 10:30, maybe even 10:15. You gotta look at the darkness and whether it's light, and if you can safely play in this game. Miners up 15-4, one out, and here is Kyle Conkle. Struck out in the first, grounded out to short. He takes a called strike. And he walked and scored in the 5th.
First baseman number 24, Kyle Conkle.
Foul back on the end of his bat. 0-2, one out. Oh, 2 pitch from Morris. Foul right back over us. The Miners and the Chinooks go at it again tomorrow night at Loretta French Field in Chugiak, a 7 o'clock start. 0-2 the count on Conkle. Here's the pitch. Outside, 1-2. Lifted out to right center, Johnny Loker and Cam Newell. Loker calls him off in right center, makes the catch, 2 away. Looking at the offense, there are a lot of guys to consider for player of the game.
Now batting second baseman number 34, Nick Cavello.
Definitely. Most of them, we'll see. Paul Panachone is the only Miner to not score a run.
Wow.
Wunderlich, Newell, Loker, Senzel, now have all scored 2 runs. Hunter Simmons have scored 3.
Hunter might be someone to consider.
Yeah.
Nick Cavello fouls that off. The count is 1-2 with 2 outs. Morris trying to get his second scoreless inning. Took over for his Northwestern State teammate, Adam Aller. Pitch inside, 2-2.
Yeah, I think, well, Josh Morris is doing a great job. No runs scored. He'd be someone to consider. Mitchell now. Just trying to look this back over.
A lot of guys to consider.
Yeah.
It's real. Jordan Rogers has 4 RBIs.
Someone else.
I just happened to look right at that. 3-2. Ball 4.
Well, Rogers had a double and ran in 2.
Right.
So that was those 2 of his RBIs. Oh, and he had another double.
It's like we're kind of
Yeah.
talking to ourselves.
I know.
Number 20, Mark Lindsay.
Here is Mark Lindsay. Nick Cavello on first. Lindsay's been on once. He singled in the 4th. 1 for 3. Other 2 times he grounded out. Pitch low and away, 1-0. Up and in, 2-0. Josh Morris, with his green socks and his yellow Miners jersey and his hair that looks a little long, kind of, and his wind-up, kind of reminds me of Dennis Eckersley, a little bit. Emma's looking at me like she has no idea. She disagrees completely.
I have noticed that Morris has been growing his hair out.
Yeah, maybe not long, but from here it looks a lot longer than it probably is.
Yeah, I don't.
2-1, a called strike. 2-2. Lindsay, shaking his head, more like a dance with his head. 2-2, 2 outs. Cavello at first. Morris's pitch. Here it is. Breaking ball, little high. 3-2. Fans wanted it. Fans hanging out here for this Miners hit attack. Or I should say run attack. More runs than hits. Runner at first is off. The pitch. That's ball 4. Back-to-back walks for Josh Morris. No action in the Miners bullpen. And here comes Jackson Kramer.
Now batting, the DH number 44, Jackson Kramer.
Kramer's been on twice. Walked in the 2nd, doubled in the 5th. Had a big double. Pitch called strike outside corner. Pitch outside, 1-1. Morris sets, kicks. Here's his pitch. Swing and a big cut, 1-2.
Kramer was looking to go deep on that one.
Yeah, the fans want one more strike from Morris. 1-2. Here it is. That's high, 2-2.
A lot of kids still here.
I was going to say it's a school night, but here I think school's been out.
Yeah.
2-2. Fouled off to left out of play, and if that foul ball did damage to your car, visit our friends at Napa Auto Parts with locations in Big Lake, Palmer, and Wasilla. Visit www.napaalaska.com.
Another cool thing about the kids here at Herman Brothers, they were playing catch outside the field before the game started.
2-2. That's high, 3-2. Yeah, there was one kid just kind of tossing the ball to himself right by the Miners clubhouse.
Yeah, he was practicing that kind of over-the-shoulder catch.
3-2, ball 4. 3 straight walks. Given up by Josh Morris. And now bring in Hunter Simmons and Mitchell now. And Brad Baker is making his way out to the mound. It looks like a catcher, perhaps Josh Meyer. Actually, 2 catchers. So that's
two pitchers.
That's probably Decker and Josh Meyer, along with a 3rd pitcher, a 4th pitcher, a 5th pitcher.
And they all have their white pants down and their gray hoodies on with their hoods up.
It kind of
except for Decker.
Right.
They all look the same.
Yeah, you can't ask us who some of them are. We don't know.
And on top of it, they are all carrying their gloves in the left hand. Did you notice that?
I noticed all of that.
Yeah. They just all look identical except for Decker, who has his hood down.
Brad Baker making his way back to the Miners dugout. Billy Arndt the batter. Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch lifted right side, giving chase is the right fielder Newell and the second baseman Connolly, but it is Newell who makes the catch and gets out of the jam. No runs in the 7th, still 15-4. The Miners lead the Chinooks on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. 7th inning stretch at Herman Brothers. We'll take you inside Herman Brothers Field for the 7th inning stretch.
And back here in Palmer, Alaska at Herman Brothers Field, Dane Wunderlich set to face the new pitcher for the Chinooks. Jackson Kramer now on the mound. Kramer designated hitting tonight, but now taking the role of the pitcher for the Chinooks.
Well, last time the Chinooks did a switch like this, it was Kyle Conkle who came in the 9th inning last week at Chugiak. That didn't go well for the Chinooks. The Miners came back and won that game.
First pitch to Wunderlich, low and outside, ball 1. One-zero pitch, big swing by Dane for strike 1. Wunderlich was walked in the first and scored a run, then hit a single as next at bat in the same inning as he fouls one back at the first base side. Then was walked in the second, was left on base at second. Then in the 6th inning, he was walked, scored a run off of it, and also stole a base. 1-2 pitch, high and inside, ball 2. Two pitch. Deep, extremely deep foul ball down the third base side. I think it hit the trees out there.
That's very deep. Off his bat, it looked deep, but
it went foul, but if he could pull that to the right, that'd be a home run in Herman Brothers. Wunderlich did have a triple in the first game as he hits one up center field, scooped up by Arndt, the shortstop makes the throw to first. We have out number 1 for the 7th inning.
Billy Arndt's had a rough night over there at shortstop. He's made 2 errors.
2 errors right in a row.
Yes.
And that brings up right fielder Cam Newell. Newell had a single in the first and scored a run. Was walked in the second, grounded out in the fourth, was walked in the sixth, stole second, and scored a run. Newell, the lefty, takes first pitch by Kramer inside for ball 1.
It doesn't even look like Kramer's throwing that hard, but he's probably throwing harder than I would throw, so I give him a break.
High fly ball down to deep right field. Going back is Navant. Navant able to catch it. So he missed one of the fly balls that the Miners hit down the right field line. And that was mostly, I think, because of the wind, but now the wind has kind of subsided. There's still a little bit. You can see the flags moving out in center field, but definitely not as much as when the game started. And that brings up Johnny Loker. Or Johnny Baseball. I don't know. Loker had a double in the first, scored a run. A double in the second, scored a run.
Kevin Christopher, who's the son of general manager Pete Christopher, told us to go with Loco for Loker.
That's it, yeah. As he hits a high fly ball to shallow right center field. Cavello, the second baseman, is there for the fly out. And that's 3 up, 3 down for the Miners. I think a happy sight for the Chinooks. The new pitcher Jackson Kramer on the mound for Chugiak. As we head to the top of the 8th inning, you are listening to Miners Radio Network. Up at the plate for Chugiak is Griffin Rourke, the third baseman. Miners still lead the Chinooks 14-4. It's a high fly ball on the first base side. Simmons and now chasing after it. Instead it goes off the roof of the Miners dugout. The coach is there laughing as Mitchell now gave chase and almost ran into them. So that's strike number 1 for Rourke, the lefty. Rourke had a fly out in the second to center field. Then was struck out by Adam Aller, the starter pitcher for the Miners. And then was the first strikeout for Josh Morris. He hits a high fly ball down the third base side. This one's foul, but Jordan Rogers calls for it and able to make the great catch. Kind of moving around. I think the wind kind of caught it. The wind, it's definitely picking up again. The flags are moving out in center field. So great job by Jordan Rogers for that out number 1. Go to the back to the top of the order for the Chinooks. Brings up Stephen Pollux, the center fielder. Had a single in the third and scored a run. Then he grounded out. This one's low, ball one. Grounded out in the second inning. Lined out in the fourth. Had a single in the sixth, but was stranded. And now we are in the eighth inning. Swing, ground ball up center field. It's going to be picked up by Loker, but Pollock's able to get a single. His second of the game. Brings up James Navant, the right fielder.
He's been on base 3 times.
Now batting right fielder number 12, James Navant.
Navant hitting .286 on the season, the right-handed batter facing Josh Morris, still on the mound for the Miners. First pitch by Morris, swung on, high fly ball to shallow center field, going back for it. It will drop. And I think Stephen Pollux, who's on first, was expecting Conley, Newell, or Loker, either one of those three, to catch it. So he was late getting into second. And I think what happened, no one really called for it. So those 3 players expected one of the other guys to catch it, and it just fell because I think Conley or Newell probably could have gotten to it. Nonetheless, that puts Navant on first. Advances Pollux to second and brings up the left-handed batter Brett Collins, playing left field. Able to reach first base in the first inning off an error, then has grounded out and fly out. See, it's a high fly ball. Caught by Now. I thought that was going to go out of the playing area, but instead Now, with the great catch, similar to Jordan Rogers, that's a fly out to the catcher for out number 2. Now batting for the Chinooks is Kyle Conkle. Conkle had to get out of the way of that, so picking up his bat. Conkle playing at the first base position. He has been struck out. He has walked and scored a run. He has grounded out to short and has hit a high fly ball to Loker in center field, who's been doing a great job playing in center tonight. First pitch, little low, but called strike. And Stephen Pollux is at second base. James Navant at first. Morris's pitch low, ball one. Pitch ball two. A little high and inside, ball three now for Josh Morris. Conkle has already been walked once in this game in the 5th inning. He scored a run off of it. Beautiful pitch by Morris. Now full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Miners still leading 15-4. Here's the payoff pitch. Runner goes at third. High fly ball down the third base line. That's foul. And that definitely went in the trees. I saw it bounce in the trees.
Boy, both these teams, more so the Miners, but they've really just been pounding the ball. The Chinooks, when they put the ball in play, they've hit it well.
3-2 pitch. Runner goes at third, but it's ball 4. And Josh Morris has loaded the bases. Brings up Nick Cavello, the second baseman. Nick had a single in the first, a double in the 5th and scored a run, and was walked in the 7th but stranded at third base. Wynn picking up again in an outfield. First pitch, big swing, strike one. Two outs, though, for the Miners. Here's the pitch. Fouled back. 2-0. 0-2.
Morris in a jam, but he's just a strike away from getting out of it. The Miners, the pitchers and the catchers, still just hanging out in the bullpen.
All
Well,
with their hoods up,
it's-
looking exactly the same.
It's more like they just want a different view of the game.
Big swing for strike 3. And Nick Avello not happy with that as he kind of slams the bat down. But I'm sure Josh Morris is happy with it as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Miners lead the Chinooks 15 runs to 4. You are listening to Miners Radio Network. Leading off for the Miners. Nick Senzel starting things off for the Miners. The bottom of this 8th inning. Designated hitter tonight. Has been walked twice and had a single in the 6th inning. Has scored 2 runs. He'd be a pretty good nomination for player of the game, which we are all taking into consideration now. You can tweet at us, comment on the video feed, or email. Senzel files this one back to the first base side. Twitter handle for the Miners is at ABL Miners. Follow us there too for updates and pictures and videos. Today I was able to interview Hunter Rodriguez. Another foul off the face mask of Lindsay, the catcher. Rodriguez, the left-handed pitcher out of Utah. To learn more about him. He's very tall, I learned that. We had to adjust the camera to fit him.
Tall or are you just short?
Guess I'm just a little short.
Got a visitor in the booth. General Manager Pete Christopher has made his way up here. He's warm up here, that's what he says.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Senzel. Here's the pitch. Inside, but Senzel swings at it and fouls this one back again. Outfielders playing straight away for the Chinooks. It's the 1-2 pitch. Inside, and Senzel swings again. This time that's strike 3. And the first strikeout for Jackson Kramer of the Chinooks.
Mr. Simmons.
Brings up Hunter Simmons for the Miners. Simmons has had a great night. 2 for 3. Has been walked twice, but has scored 3 runs. And has had some great plays at first base. First pitch in there, strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch to Simmons. Foul ball. I think by the concession stand. I think there's some fans yelling heads up for anybody standing in line. Get a last minute Miner dog. No balls, 2 strikes to Simmons. This one's in the dirt, ball 1. A little low and outside for ball 2 to Simmons.
We hope to have a much better broadcast for you tomorrow. We apologize for just being in and out. We're not very happy about it. But tomorrow at the Chinooks, 7 o'clock, 6:45, Matthew Myers pregame show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Simmons hits a high fly ball down the first base side. Running after it is Conkle, the first baseman, along with Navant, the right fielder. Said it drops foul. And Simmons stays alive at the plate. Jackson Kramer on the mound. His hometown is Coppell, Texas, in my neck of the woods, around Dallas. Another foul ball down the first base side to the Miners dugout this time.
I have not met anybody in the month to the day that I have been here from Boston.
Wow. 2-2 pitch. Swung on, deep ball to right field. This one will get down, and Simmons rounds first, heads for second. And it's now a double for Simmons, making his case for player of the game.
He's really seen the ball much better. Like I said, I talked to him before the game, and he said he's been working on just hitting the ball straight. He's really just been swinging above the ball or below the ball.
Brings up Mitchell now, who's had a great game also. Has reached base 4 out of the 5 times he's seen the plate. Has scored 2 runs. Hit 2 singles. Playing catcher tonight. Little high for ball 1 from Kramer. Kramer from Coppell goes to West Virginia. And there for strike 1. Not usually a pitcher. Usually, I think in the infield.
Designated hitter, first base. He's kind of got that build for it.
Swung on ground ball to shortstop Arndt. Arndt over to first base to Conkle in time. Out number 2 for the Chinooks. And brings up Jordan Rogers playing third base. He has also been on base or reached base 4 of the 5 times he's been to the plate. Had a double in the first, was walked in the second and scored a run. Had another double in the third. Had a fly out in the 5th. Then reached first base on an error in the 6th. Has hit in 4 runs, 4 RBIs. 2-0 count now for Rogers.
I mean, we're fortunate to have binoculars here in the booth.
Definitely.
And I can tell you that from our view, I think it always looks like there's more time to decide whether you want to swing at the swing the bat or to let it go and not swing.
3-0 pitch. Strike one.
But I can tell you that when you look through these things, it's really, really fast.
3-1 pitch by Kramer. Swung on, high fly ball. And this goes back behind the Miners dugout.
You're going to give it a
Strike
shot,
two.
aren't you?
I'm going to try it. Well. Full count. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Check swing. And that's strike three for Rogers. So 2 strikeouts in the 8th inning for Jackson Kramer of the Chinooks. And that'll bring us to the 9th inning. The Miners are leading the Chinooks 15 runs to 4. You're listening to Miners Radio Network.
New pitcher on for the Miners. It is Josh Grissom. Grissom from Blue Mountain Community College, where Brad Baker is the coach. Last pitched on the 11th against the Chinooks. Third of an inning, 3 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, no strikeouts. First pitch is a ball to Mark Lindsay. Grissom was 1-6 with a 4.56 earned run average. Started 11 games for Blue Mountain. 49 1/3 innings pitched with 14 strikeouts. Here's his pitch. That's a called strike.
Caught that outside corner. Good pitch by Grissom.
Grissom, not a very big guy, 6 feet, 165 pounds.
But he's another really nice guy on the team.
He really is. They're all nice.
Yeah. Very friendly when we talked to everyone before the season started.
It's great to actually sort of come in, and I think it's more so for the players than for us. But it's kind of like you just instantly make 20 to 25 new friends.
Yeah.
In a couple days.
Grissom also plays catcher, 2-way player, but he says he prefers pitching, more action.
Single to right. Lindsay's aboard for the 3rd time, and that'll bring up Jackson Kramer.
Now batting, pitcher number 44, Jackson Kramer.
Kramer, the pitcher, has been on 3 of the 4 of his 4 plate appearances, 2 walks and a double. Bats from the left side. 15-4 the Miners lead. Grounds it foul right by the home plate area.
Last night he was hitless against the Pilots, but was walked 3 times.
Send in those final player of the game nominations. Tweet at us at ABL Miners. Send us an email, matsuminersbroadcast@gmail.com. Or comment on the player below. Hard grounder to the second baseman, Connolly. He can't make the play. Into right. In E4. Lindsay up to second base. So now Kramer has been on for the 4th time, and that'll bring up Billy Arndt. He's been on twice, a walk, a single, a ground out to third, and a fly out to right. 2 on, nobody out. Grissom will look at second, throws home, fouls it right back. We have not received any nominations, so if you want to get your say in, go for it.
I think I have a person.
Oh, so do I. I think we agree on it. I don't know if you just heard Emma. Fly ball to right. Charging is the right fielder, Newell. And he cannot make the catch. So now the bases are loaded. Lindsay to third, Kramer to second. And Billy Arndt on for the 3rd time. That'll bring up Griffith Rourke. He is 0 for 4.
I think we have some Chugiak fans in the crowd, too.
It's only about 20 or 25 minutes away, so it's not that far, but that would make sense.
Yeah.
Want to know the count on Rourke. Lifted to the left, giving chase to the third baseman, Rogers. It's out of play. Clayton Taylor is at a walk-off 3-run home run for the Pilots against the Bucks. 1-2. We'll count on Rourke. Grissom kicks. Here's his pitch. Breaking ball. It's a little high. 2-2. Works quickly. 2-2. Lifted to the left. Foul out of play.
Ooh, it hit something.
Sure that wasn't one of those sound effects?
No, it hit, I think, the garage, the steel garage.
Okay, yeah. Uh-oh, another visitor to the booth. 2-2 outside, 3-2. He's trying to get his hands
Oh,
on
cold
the mic.
hands.
The cold hands.
It's chilly out there. Last time I checked, it was 52 degrees.
3-2 lifted, left side, giving chase. It's going to be Rogers or Paniccione. It's Rogers who makes the catch, 1 away. Base is still loaded to the top of the order for Stephen Pollux. We'll ask our visitor to the booth, how cold is it out there? He says too cold. First pitch with 1 out is lifted out to deep right center. Johnny Loker makes the play. Runner's tag. And a run is in as Mark Lindsay scores the 5th run for the Chinooks. It's 15-5. And Bob says it's time to go home. So Bob is leaving. And there's a scoring change. Griffith Rourke, rather than flying out to Rogers, that's an infield fly. But Pollux flies out to center for the 2nd out. And that'll bring up James Navant. Navant has been on twice, 2 singles. From Notre Dame, the pitch, low ball 1. The Chinooks down by 10, trying to get a couple more runs. Here in the top of the 9th, pitch outside. Fouled off. Rip to the right side. That should get down. It will. Another run is in for the Chinooks. Navant heads for second. RBI double for James Navant. Kramer scores. Billy Arndt to third. And Josh Grissom having a little bit of a tough time getting that final out. So here is Brett Collins. He's been on base once. That was back in the first inning, which seems like a very long time ago.
It was over 3 hours ago.
It was about 3 hours, 10 minutes. Want to know the count on Collins? Back to the mound. Grissom races to the bag. Will throw to first, and that'll do it. The Miners, and just what was just a hit and run attack. It was just all over the place. They get the win, 15-6. They are 4-3. The Chinooks drop to 3-5. And the Miners and the Chinooks will go at it again tomorrow at Loretta French Field in Chugiak. Stay with us for the Matsu Miners post-game show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Hope to hear from manager Ben Taylor and our player of the game, which will be unveiled, revealed, whatever you want to call it, when we come back. Once again, the final score, the Miners beat the Chinooks 15-6. Back on the Matsu Miners post-game show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. I'm Alistair Pollock. Emma Tiedemann to my right. A 15-6 blowout of the Chugiak Eagle River Chinooks. The Miners just finding that groove. They really, really are. Everything seems to be going smoothly. A hit attack. And the pitching really was not. The pitching was pretty good. I think in a blowout, like when your offense scores 15 runs,
Yeah.
and you look at 6 runs for the Chinooks, you think, oh my God, that's nothing. They pitched a great game. And then when you, and then actually when you look at maybe if you don't win perhaps as many games or you don't get as many runs, you give up 6, you think, oh, that's a lot. But no, 15 runs, 15 to 6. That is, you can't complain about that. That's you got the hits. Hunter Simmons played a great game.
Definitely.
As we're actually watching he and Mitchell now. I don't know where they're going. Oh, they're catching up.
Yeah.
They're buddies. All right. Well,
One of the Chinooks players.
yeah. So let's break this down the best we can. We were dealing with our technical difficulty, so it was a little. It just gives me a
Little rough.
Yeah, it was a little rough. We really, really apologize. Things at home don't always go as smoothly as we hope. We always do our best, but let's start off. Let's start off with Adam Oller. We got our first look at him, and he looked pretty good. He got plenty of run support. Looked a little off at times, and it was kind of like good inning, not so good inning, good inning, not so good inning, good inning. What do you take from that?
I think through 5 innings pitched, he gave up 7 hits, 4 runs, but he struck out 2 and looked pretty solid. Looking at back over the score sheet, there weren't really any big plays. The 5th inning, 3 runs were scored, but he handled himself well under pressure with such as like the bases loaded kind of situation.
Yeah, we've got our player of the game standing by, so we will return in just a second on the Matsu Miners post-game show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. All right, back here on the Matsu Miners post-game show brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. There he is, manager Ben Taylor, a 15-6 win.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, we needed it. We're short in the bullpen. We needed a game where we went out and scored a bunch of runs so we could, use as little pitching as we possibly could tonight. And, it just happened to work out that way for us.
You really, really jumbled up the lineup quite a bit. Take me through, I guess you're sitting in your office, take me through that whole sort of decision process, wanting to get guys day off, or some guys were a little rusty.
Well, we had a couple of guys that I had sat 2 days in a row, and, Wunderlich and Conley and Rogers, and those guys hadn't really done anything wrong. It's just some of the newer guys had done some really good things, and we'd get some guys some at-bats, and Frost needed a day off, and Smith needed a day off, and it was great. Everybody contributes. Everybody on this team is a pretty good player. Everybody can hit. So, there's a pretty big meeting every night at the house with my coaching staff, and who are we going to play, and where are we going to play them? So there's a lot of competition for spots. I got a tough decision to make every night.
Right, Johnny Loker, he comes in Friday night, hits that walk-off grand slam. Yesterday against the Bucks, you're down 2-1 in the ninth, hits the tying home run. What kind of impact has he had for your team since getting here?
Well, he's done nothing but hit. and we've needed that. And he kind of fell crashing back to earth a little bit today, but he's fantastic. He's out early. He works hard. He's a pleasure to be around, and he hits big homers. I mean, what more could we ask for?
And on the other side of the ball, pitching, Adam Aller getting the start, getting a good look with him. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 strikeouts with 4 runs. How do you feel about Aller's pitching?
I thought Aller did a good job. I thought he stayed the bottom of the zone well. I thought he attacked well. I mean, that's his first start for us. He gave us 5 innings. He was pretty efficient. And I think he did a good job. And Morris is the one I'm really stoked about.
Yeah.
I mean, Morris, he had a rough go against the Pilots at their place when we get walked off. I know he doesn't feel real good about things. And then he comes in and goes 3 innings, no runs for us today. It's a big deal. It's a big deal when a guy has a rough one and then can feel like he really contributed. I mean, it's important for us long term.
And Josh Grisham also had a rough going the first time out, but no runs scored.
Yeah, same thing. And the thing about Grissom in that inning is, we take care of the ball a little bit better behind him. I mean, we don't get to that point.
Right.
And so guys getting back on the horse, guys having success, it's all big.
So also, what do you go with from here? I mean, these guys just seem excited and they seem to be really on a hot streak. What do you have to do to sort of stay in it?
I'll tell you what, if we get good starting pitching and we get extended starting pitching, meaning we get 5 to 7 innings out of our starters, we're going to score runs. Because I think we're going to hit, and I think we're going to hit in spurts a lot. So these guys, they just got to do a good job on the mound. I mean, the fact is the game starts and stops on the mound. And they do that, we're going to be in great shape.
And Hunter Simmons kind of coming out of his funk. I talked to him a little bit during batting practice, and he said you were working on just hitting the ball straight and not missing the ball, but with the bat above the ball, below the ball. He was talking about the subway sign and another part.
Yeah, H did a good job today. He came out. We had like 14 guys or whatever come out for early batting practice and early work today, and H the whole day we were trying to keep the ball between the 342 and the 345 sign, no matter where the ball was when he was pitched or flipped to him. And excuse me. And he stayed with it in batting practice. He's done a good job, and he gets 3 base hits to right field today. So it's awesome for him. Good for hard work pays off.
All right, that's manager Ben Taylor on Taylor's Take. Coach, congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. You're starting to get into a rhythm.
Hey, you hear Ben Taylor giving us, he's congratulating us, despite about 3 innings off the air tonight, dealing with something else. But we're going to bring in Hunter Simmons right now, our player of the game.
What's up, guys?
You hear him making his way in. He's got to be happy and feel good about himself, and we're going to bring him in. There you see him, Hunter Simmons.
I think she's up.
All right, you want to say hi to her?
What's up, Mom? How you doing?
We got 14 people looking at you right now.
Sweet. There's one of them. She's got to be one of them.
All right.
Sure.
All right, Hunter, you really came out today. You were out there early for BP. Obviously still making great plays in the field, but you just seem so much more comfortable at the plate.
Yeah, no, today was a huge. You want me to grab that or not?
You can take that.
Yeah, today was a huge day. I knew I needed to put some things together, and it wasn't necessarily results. It wasn't necessarily getting hits every time, but putting together good at bats. That's what it's about. So getting out here early and working on things. Staying up the middle and getting good pitches to hit, and just putting good swings on the ball. And that's all I wanted to do tonight. And I thought I did a good job with 2 strikes. And that's kind of where I feel I did best tonight.
You feel more comfortable?
Oh, yeah, totally. I think after yesterday's day off, I kind of got a lot of mental things going. I started thinking a lot about my swings and kind of dissecting things. And I came out today, and BT and I were just focused. We were focused on one thing, and that was staying up the middle, not trying to do too much. And then you bring it into the game, and the Chinooks aren't a bad team. They're going to come out and compete every night. So that's one thing I had to do is I had to have good at-bats, and I had to stay up the middle, and I did that, So that's...
I think in the words of your mother, some minor magic, I'd say. Because you were walked in the first and the second innings, and we were talking, okay, Simmons back to his patient ways, being just walked on a base, and you scored runs off of both of those walks. And then you had a single in the 4th, and then a single in the 6th, and you doubled in the 8th. So how is this kind of mindset? I mean, you're obviously so happy with yourself, mindset going into like tomorrow's game against the Chinooks at the Chinooks?
So baseball is the funny thing because every day is different, you know. So how do you keep doing what you're doing consistently and well? And that's the thing where I'm gonna need to go home tonight and I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and I'm gonna dissect my swings. What was I feeling? You know, today I was feeling real confident with 2 strikes. I was getting 2 strikes. All my hits, I'm pretty sure, with 2 strikes. So I gotta really focus on, you know, getting ahead maybe or hitting the ball early or something like that. I don't know, but it's just focusing on the at bat, having good at bats, and good at bats, you know, have results, and that's hits, and that's doubles, and that's singles with 2 strikes. So I just got to keep doing that, putting good at bats together.
And are you still waiting for that one pitch that you were looking out for earlier?
Yeah, no. Sooner or later, I'm gonna get a pitch, and I'm gonna hit it over there. But for now, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the zone all the time is different, so I can't tell you.
What's going to happen is he's going to feel so comfortable. He's going to step up to that plate, hit a shot to left, round the bases, point up to us with a smile.
You know,
Like,
actually, today I saw you guys. I wanted to point because I can see you guys up here chatting. So.
yeah, just wave anytime you're out, you know.
I had a home run. I'm going to point at you guys.
Yeah.
If we don't respond, it's because we're dealing with technical difficulties like we did
like
tonight.
Today, yeah.
So
But we'll wave back.
Yeah.
we
We'll
will.
see it, yeah.
We'll do our best.
Yeah. But
All right. Well, Hunter Simmons, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Congratulations on a big win. Keep it up, and we'll see you tomorrow.
appreciate it, Austin. See you guys. See you.
All right. So we'll wrap things up here on the Matsu Miners postgame show. We'll be right back. All right, there you have it. Hunter Simmons, your player of the game in the Miners' 15-6 victory over the Chinooks. We'll be back at it tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Alaska time in Chugiak for the Miners and the Chinooks. Be with us for the Matsu Miners pregame show at 6:45 Alaska time. That's brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. As always, for Emma Tiedemann, I'm Austin Pollock. Once again, the final score, the Miners beat the Chinooks 15-6. Once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We should be back tomorrow night. Thank you again